Hey all, Tony Bing here, hello and welcome back to another in-depth review for Marvel Strike Force. Now we have our third Brotherhood character today. In previous videos we have covered Juggernaut and Mystique and they've looked pretty nice. When you drop them in a Brotherhood team they become really quite deadly, so will the same be said of Pyro? Now in this video, to let you know if he's worth investing in, we'll start off first with a general overview that includes his tags and how you unlock them. We'll then have a look at his stats. Next up it's the abilities, and during that section I'll let you know how high you actually want to take his abilities. We then have the synergies, that includes characters you can work well with and characters you want to avoid, and then finally we see where he places in the tier list. So we're starting off anyway with the general overview. Pyro then is a blaster class, but like a few heroes we've looked at recently, he could almost be a hybrid of a blaster and a controller because he offers an insane amount of crowd control as well. Now as part of his kit, and this is touched on in his description, all of his attacks actually attack primary target and adjacent targets, so that works really nice, and it works especially well if you pair him up with Magneto. Now when we look at his tags, it's Villain, Global, Mutant, Blaster and Brotherhood. The Brotherhood, as we know, they look like they're going to be incredible, and I'll hopefully be able to test that sooner rather than later. Villain tag can be really handy for that campaign. The other tag that's really important here is the Blaster one, because we have the Blaster challenge which is really difficult, but Pyro will make that a whole lot easier. Now in regards to unlocking them, we have a Blitz coming up on the 23rd and the 30th of this month, and for players that are looking to get them the second time round about February, there will be a legendary campaign for them as well, and that's normally pretty good for ranking up heroes. So that's the general overview. Let's now have a look at his stats. Pyro then is a character where his base stats aren't the most impressive, but he more than makes up for it through his kit. Now if we look at his damage, it's down at E, which is of course really quite low for a blaster class, but don't let that put you off him at all. His speed is on the lower side as well, that's down at D and that's at 95, but he has ways he can compensate for that, the same way he has ways he can compensate for the low base damage as well. His focus is really nice, that's way up at A, so that's one of the highest ratings in the game, and that is exceptionally important because he'll be applying a ton of debuffs and he actually does a really nice amount of cleanse as well through his kit. Now additional parts of his kit from an offensive perspective that help pull up the lower base stats are the fact that he gains 25% additional focus. Not that he really needs it, but it's always a good thing to have there, a higher chance of cleansing or debuffing characters. He's got an absolute insane amount of bleeds he puts on enemies. I know it's bleed and not burn, but I think they're trying to keep the game simple by having one affix there. He has heal block that you can apply via Magneto, and that's really awesome. And then finally, to compensate for his lower speed bar, you can actually fill up his speed bar on hit, and that's when he's been actually hit, so that can really help out as well. It does add in a little bit of randomness as to when he can actually cast, but that makes things a bit more fun really. Now what we'll check out next will be his defensive stats. Defense wise then, he doesn't do well, and this is really his biggest downside, but generally blaster class characters will need to be protected by a protector class in the first instance anyway. Now if we look at his defensive stats, it's nice and simple here. We don't have anything additional defensive in his kit. His health is down at F, so it's one of the lowest ratings in the game. His armour is C, so that's average there, and then his resistance is D, so it means he could be susceptible to debuffs himself, but that's it. Really not much else to look at defensively for him, so as mentioned, that is one of his downsides, but it's one of his few downsides I will say. Now with the stats covered, let's have a look at his abilities. When we look at the abilities here, then I'll bring up the tooltip of the actual ability maxed out at level 7 for active skills, level 5 for the passive. I'll talk you through it and then I'll let you know how high you actually want to level it as well. So the first thing that we do look at, this is his passive called Stoke the Flames. It's got a nice little tooltip image, I really do like that. With this, when it's maxed out at level 5, you gain 25% extra focus. When Pyro is attacked, you fill a 15% speed bar, so that's really nice there, and it makes up for his lower base speed. And then this is awesome. If Magneto's an ally, when an enemy drops below 50% health, you apply heal block. That's just going to give the enemy so many headaches, and I really dread going up against that. Now, in regards to how high you want to take it, at level 4 you retain the heal block when an enemy drops below 50% health. You'll lose 5% focus, but you also lose 5% speed bar when you are attacked. So I would say it's actually worthwhile upgrading this one way up to level 5, so you can get that additional speed bar every time he's hit, and you can get those bleeds or burns off even quicker. For his basic, we have a very nice skill here, which in a lot of ways is quite similar to Quake's basic, in that it does the damage to primary and adjacent targets, but it's adding a debuff as well, and the debuff is probably the most important part of this. So it's called Flamethrower. With this, you attack the primary target and adjacent targets for 150% damage. The important part here is that you apply bleed to each target as well. Now, the chance to apply bleed becomes 100% at level 5. You will only do 100% damage, but it's really the bleed that's doing the bulk of the damage here. So I would say if you're struggling for materials, you can get away at taking this up to level 5, and if you're going all in Brotherhood, you will of course want to take it higher, but you can settle at level 5 and you'll still see nice results from this. For the special, we have an amazing skill here called Pyro Techniques. It's 5 turns to charge and comes fully charged, so you will want to use this at the start of a fight. Now with this, you attack the primary target and adjacent targets for 180% damage, you apply 2 bleed for a whopping 2 turns, and you clear 2 positive effects from the target as well. So this works exceptionally well against the likes of Drax, because taunt is classed as a positive effect, so you will strip that and apply the bleed as well. The Brotherhood mechanic with this is that if Magneto is an ally, you clear all positive effects from each target, so that can really be insane because it's doing it to adjacent targets. If you add up all the bleeds you could potentially get if you're hitting 3 targets for this, it's equivalent of 12 bleeds on the first turn when you spread them out. Absolutely amazing. In order to get the 2 turns of bleed though, you do have to take this up to level 7, so that's where I would say you want to go for this particular skill. With the final skill we look at here for Pyro, we have a contender for one of the best looking skills in the game, and it's actually really awesome as well. So this is called Firecrafting. It's 6 turns to charge and comes with 4 charges, so that means you'll use the special on turn 1 and then you'll use the ultimate in turn 2. Now with this, you attack primary target and adjacent targets for 230% damage, which is really pretty decent, and you apply Disrupted for 2 turns as well. Now when we previously looked at Juggernaut, he gained immunity. Disrupted is the opposite version of that essentially. So with immunity, you can't have debuffs added. With Disrupted, you can actually apply buffs to yourself, so it can be hard to time it right, and you do have to take a few hits for your speed bar to fill up, but you can essentially use this on the likes of Captain America before he taunts, and what he'll do is he'll use the special and he'll attempt to taunt up, but he'll get nothing from it. It's absolutely incredible when that does happen. It just completely shuts him down. Now also with this, from the Brotherhood perspective, if Magneto's an ally, each target is bleed prolonged by a duration of 1. Now that's important because you open up with the special, you apply all those stacks of bleed, and because they last for 2 turns, by the time this move comes round, there'll still be bleeds on the targets, and then you can extend them for a further turn, so that'll be absolutely amazing there. Now in order to get the 2 turns of Disrupted, which I would say is really important, you have to upgrade this one to level 7 as well. So if you've not already started doing it, start hoarding your orange materials for the Brotherhood team, because they're going to be absolutely awesome. Now with all the abilities covered, let's have a look at his synergies. When we look at characters that Pyro works well with, of course you have the Brotherhood at the top there, and if you've got the full team, you will want to run him with them. If you don't have that full team, or if you want to play around a bit, you can work very well in teams that manipulate or add debuffs. So the character at the top here, and that's because he's probably the most important one, would be Scarlet Witch for extending all those debuffs. So think of all those bleeds we're applying and the Disrupted, and then we can extend them further. If you're running Scarlet Witch, of course you would want to pair her up with Vision as well, so you've got the additional bleeds. You've then got Venom, so the way this would work with him is Pyro will fire off his special and apply all the bleeds to primary and adjacent targets, and then Venom, if you choose to use his ultimate, will do damage to the primary and adjacent targets, and then he adds heal block for 2 turns as well, so you get 3 characters completely locked down and probably taken out by the end of the turn for the remaining characters. Now that really could be awesome. Finally we have Mordo, that doesn't specifically work that amazing with Pyro, but if you're running the team, the likes of Scarlet Witch and Vision and so on, then drop in Mordo as well due to the strong debuffs that he can actually offer. Now next up, let's have a look at the characters that you would want to avoid. When we look at characters you want to avoid here, they fall into 2 categories. The first one is characters that can cleanse all the debuffs you're adding, so that includes Deadpool, Jessica Jones and also Ronan. Now I've tried to test for a fair bit with Scientist Supreme to see if she'll flip Disrupt into immunity, but I just cannot get her to cast it when I have Disrupt on a character, so if anyone knows, please do let me know in the comments below. Other characters it could be trickier, ones that can burn them down or block them, but this will only really work if you're not running them in a Brotherhood team, which most people will do. But if you see them out in the wild in a different team, characters that could be useful would include Ant-Man, Vision, Rocket and Star-Lord due to all the damage they can do in the first turn, Korath with the damage and the potential for ability block, and then finally Daredevil could be really dangerous because he's attacking really quickly, and because Pyro's a villain you can get up to the guaranteed 2 hits as well, and I think it's something like 470% damage he could do, so he could really burn them down, and with a crit you might even be able to take him out as well there. Now with the characters you want to avoid covered, let's have a look at the tier list. When we place characters in this tier list, then we always place them based on how they actually perform as an individual, but that makes it quite difficult nowadays because we have such a strong emphasis on teams. You can see that with Defenders, Shield and now the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants as well. So what I'll do first anyway is I will actually run over what Pyro offers on his own, and he does offer a ton. Once we've done that, I'll then run over what he can gain from being part of a specific team, and that's really having Magneto teamed up with him. But on his own he is great. You've got the basic, which is doing splash damage and applying bleeds. You have the special you can use on turn 1, which has got a cleanse, it's got bleed for multiple turns, and again it's got the splash damage, and then you've got that awesome ultimate with the disrupted for 2 turns, and again that has got splash damage on it and it'll apply to multiple characters. And then finally we have the speed bar refill, which does help him out. It is one of his negatives, he's low speed, he does rely on the speed bar fill, so if you find he's not getting attacked or just taking damage, he can seem a little bit on the slower side, so that is one of his few downsides. That alongside the fact he is pretty squishy, but that is to be expected for a blaster class. Now if you look what he would actually gain when he's paired up with the character of choice, that would of course be Magneto. On the special, when you use that, you clear all positive effects from 3 targets as long as they're all adjacent to each other. You will prolong the bleed, and that's the bleed on the special. You do that via the ultimate. And then finally on the passive, if Magneto's an ally, when an enemy drops below 50% health, you apply the heal block, and that's exceptionally useful because you have all the bleeds in characters, you've got the heal block, and they're absolutely trapped. There's not much they can do other than get defeated. So overall, on his own, he's a fantastic character, and he can actually slot into quite a few other teams, and we can't say that for all the Brotherhood characters, so I would rate him as a high alpha character. If you were to pair him up with the Brotherhood, he becomes absolutely lethal, and he actually gains additional health from Magneto, which helps his squishiness, and he can get speed up from Magneto as well, which makes him even better there. So overall I would say with the Brotherhood, that would push him all the way up to high and mega character. So absolutely fantastic character. We've got the Blitzes coming up soon, so good luck for when they do come around. Let me know in the comments below if you've unlocked Pyro and if you're enjoying them, and as always, thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you all again soon.